Hi ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mark from MB Aquariums, and this is my vlog about what I get up to during my aquarium maintenance business day. So today we've got three tropical aquariums, mainly a tropical day, with one marine aquarium that I'm doing some holiday cover for at the end. So we're going to get cracking to the first one, which is actually 2 tanks in one house, more turtles. So this is pretty cool. It looks a different way of running a turtle tank, and then a planted community tank. So let's get cracking.
So, second turtle tank that I look after. So a little bit different setup to the other one, but works really well. So they've got basking light up top with, let's see if we can see it, with a ramp that leads up to the top. And these guys love it. So they've got a bit of floating log as well and a bit of wood in there. So running on a canister filter, so this gets again pretty mucky, but it's an oversized canister, so works really well. So we'll give this glass a good clean, and then we'll have a look at the other tank, which is over this side of the room. So I've been to these tanks for the last sort of 3 or 4 months probably. These guys have got a 1-year-old little boy, so time is limited, so able to trim this one back, give it a good glass clean both filters and water change on both of these tanks. So as you can see, this one gets overgrown very quickly. We'll give it a good plant. I'll film some bits that I'm doing, and then we'll crack on. So I'll be back in a bit. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that big proponent of these mineral sponges. They're great. I'll put a link below for the Amazon link as well, just to give you an idea of cost. They're really cheap. I buy them in big packs for obvious reasons, but great for taking off all the algae, and as you can see, lovely and dark. So hopefully get some nice satisfying mold siphoning. So we'll siphon out a load of water into those buckets as we normally do. Once the water level's down a little bit, also give this bottom glass a clean. We've finished with the top glass, so it's just this bottom stuff that we need to pick up. So we'll fill up a bucket, 2 buckets. So yeah, about 30 litres, 40 litre water change on these. So look at me go, having a tripod all set up. So let's have a little look at what this filter looks like. So 407, so I really like Fluval filters in general. You've heard my thoughts previously about the 406 and the FX6 and the FX4. So do go and check out my other videos if you haven't done for them. So we'll just get the lid off this, hopefully. Perfect. So always give the impeller just a quick little check whilst we're here. Come here every 3 weeks or so. So this filter gets pulled apart every 3 weeks. So don't do this every single time. That looks pretty good to me. We'll give it a quick rinse. But yeah, no problems. Always give, don't always, as I say, pull it apart, but give it a check probably every 2nd or 3rd visit that I'm here. So that's that done. I'll put that down there out of the way. So turtles, as we've discussed before with the other turtles that you've seen a couple of times if you checked out my video, quite messy beasts. So as you can see from this one, there's the clean side, there's the dirty side, but because we come quite regularly, it doesn't get too overfilled. So again, a bit of muck at the top of these ones, not too bad. For the rest of it, give the cradle a quick rinse, the clean bucket, and hopefully you can see from that how dirty that gets just with those sponges cleaned out. So that's that on. So the sponge is done. So in here we run a few different bits and pieces. So first off, we've got dirty bucket. We've got some false floss, which again gets pretty dirty, but we can just get rid of that and replace with some new white stuff. And then there's the phosphate sponges. So we've got some new filter floss in there when we put it back in. And then carbon. So replace this every second visit. This was replaced last time, so you don't need to do any replacement of carbon bags. And then we've got another load of filter sponges of the filter media. Sorry, I said sponges, didn't I? Filter floss. So again, really dirty, so we'll get rid of that. And again, we'll replace that with new. Media is not too dirty because of filter floss, so just give it a little sponge off. Again, into the clean bucket. And then we've got black filter sponges, which again, because of the filter floss we run, never get too disgusting. We'll give them a quick rinse out. Again, I'm doing this every 3 weeks, so things usually I recommend sort of 6 to 8 weeks for most normal tropical tanks, but for turtles, definitely need to make sure doing a bit more regularly than that. So, just going to go outside, get rid of this water and this water, and then I'll come back when I'm putting everything back together again. Alright, we're back. So, empty canister, and then all the sponges in here. So, first things first, let's quickly siphon in some tank water into the canister. That's the canister almost filled by the time we put the media in. Bit of, hopefully, guesstimation that we've got the right level. So, sponges in first, in the bottom. And then we've got our biomedia balls with, oh, lost it, with our floss on top. Might have gone a little bit too much there, but as long as we can get it all running and it doesn't bung up everything, we should be good. A bit of carbon bags. So these are the standard carbon bags from Fluval, so they work really well. A little bit more expensive, but very convenient. Already in the bags, don't have to mess around with anything. And then last one, phosphate ones. So when these start getting really sort of dirty, I do tend to replace them. Again, the customers supply their own in this case, but that all varies depending on what people want to do. Cool, so let's just get this filter floss in. And then we'll put it, oh, we need the other sponges obviously. Put it on. Sponges in. I think I might have overcooked this, so we will put this in. Let's, just so we don't flood the place. Let's have a little and I think by the time we put the lid on that, we're going to have overfilled it. So a little bit. Perfect. Lid on, and we'll get the filter back going. Alright, I'll come back to you when there's something else interesting to talk about. So as you saw in that last clip, really cut down on what we're doing. So we've got Oh, can't really see that at all. So we've got a really big pot of green that we've taken out. So hopefully you can see that's nice and trimmed down. So just need to do the glass. So again, got one of my trusty sponges, and we'll just give this a quick wipe. Only things with these sponges, obviously you just need to be super careful when you're around the sands, gravel. Don't want to pick any of that up and end up scratching all the glass. Right, so filters on the Juwel tanks are internals. So in this corner, we've got the filter with motor and the heater's internal. So it's quite nice in as much as it's boxed out, but it is just a little bit more difficult to access, and filming's going to be a bit more fun. So what I'll do is I'll get these filter sponges down and out. So they're in blocks, so we'll clean it. You can see quite dirty with plant matter after I've been in there cleaning everything. So we'll clean it out, and then we'll put it back in. So I'll try and get you some footage of what's going on. So I had to switch on the light because it's a little bit dirty down here, but these sponges actually aren't too bad. This is the bottom one, so we'll just give this a quick rinse out and put it back. These Juwel ones, they've got the nice cages. I quite often put a cable tie at the top because otherwise they just ping open when you're leaving them in buckets to the soap. And then this one, again, this one actually fits in really nicely, but it's significantly dirtier. Let's just come a little bit closer to you so you can see what's going on. Yeah, so significantly dirtier. So we'll give it a good clean out, and you can put one in first. And then we've got the big one that again sits nice and evenly in it. Alright, get rid of this water, and then it's time for new clean water to go in. So just finishing up at these two tanks, first ones of the morning, so all looking nice and clean now. Still bits floating around as they usually are post change, and the turtles a little bit later are looking much better. He says as they go down they kick up all the gump at the back, and again using their ramp to get up into that basking area. Alright, let's get cracking on to the next one. So here we are at the next tank. Lovely little tropical tank. It's an Oase tank with an Oase internal filter with some really lovely fish. Nice, good variation as well that we've got in here. So got a little problem with some blackbeard algae in here. So we've added some Amano shrimps, and when I siphon, I also do pinch and pull to try and get rid of as much of it as we can. And it's slowly improving. Obviously, there's still quite a lot around the place, but it is just about changing those things. We've also talked about reducing down the lighting to try and reduce down the blackbeard, and hopefully we can get on top of this with a bit of manual removal and getting some algae eaters or different algae eaters in there, such as the Amanos. Alright, I'll get cracking with this and I'll bring you back when there's something interesting. So yeah, still going to do pinch and pull method with this tank. Because we've got not much water to play with, I'm going to do the old, oh, can you see that? Yeah, the old pinch method on the pipe as well. So this just slows down the water. So not got much to play with, only got 25 litres of water to remove. It's not a very big tank, but I don't really want to spread the blackbeard around too much, so we do want to pinch and pull as much as possible to get it down to a level that some of the herbivores in here can then take care of it. At the same time, if we did it on a full siphon, we'd run out of space very, very quickly. So just take my time with that pinch on. And as you can see, blackbeard then just going through the pipe work. You know, So that's siphoning done. So got rid of a load of blackbeard there, hopefully looking a little bit better. As I say, with blackbeard, there's a few different things you can change in the tank. Big one is trying to get light down a little bit. Nutrients as well, so overfeeding can be a problem. But generally, pinch and pull, bit of manual removal, and then let the Mangianos, hopefully Amanos take care of it once it's a bit low. So I'm going to put the water back in and I'll be back with you in a bit. So water just going back in. Also realised that I didn't really discuss the routine with this tank, so haven't been coming in that long. This is maybe my 4th or 5th visit. Come in every 2 weeks, so 2 weeks of what we've just done today, which is a bit of glass cleaning, bit of manual removal of the algae, and then a water change. So I'm using RODI water, which has been remineralised, and then on the 3rd visit, also clean out the filter in that back corner, replace the carbon that I've put in there just to give a bit more water clarity, sorry. Yeah, so that's what we've decided to work on, and as I say, lovely little tank. Just the blackbeard that we need to really get on top of. Plants are doing quite well. Again, a little bit of algae on their leaves, but hopefully now we've turned the lights down a little bit, that will help with the situation. So after this, going to a house with a couple of tanks. So I've only been there once before. This is my 2nd visit. We did a water change and a filter clean on that on one of the 2 tanks. So we'll see what the lady would like today, and we'll have a look at those, both tropical as well. And then we've got a marine to finish. All right, I will catch you at the next tank. So here we are at the next tank. I've actually finished with this one. I got a bit carried away when I arrived here and we got chatting, and then I started working, and then I realised I hadn't started filming. So this is another Juwel aquarium, Juwel corner aquarium, first of the 2 aquariums that I'm looking after in this house. It's only my 2nd visit, so there's a little bit of hair algae that I'll put a video up here of me pulling some of it out. But we've advised for some Amano shrimp and some Ottos to get on top of the green stuff on the white rocks as well. Also got a few snails popping up every now and again, so I siphon some out. I'm just looking for some now. Can't actually see any, which is good. But there's one. So in on that bit of rock, there's one. So we're just going to get some loaches as well. So probably some yo-yos in this tank, just to keep everything ticking on. Same corner filter as I changed at the previous tank. So yeah, nice, and not previous tank before that, first tank of the day. So nice, simple, just the baskets. You've seen all that before, we don't need to see that. Topping up again with RODI. So yeah, using the barrel pump, which is great piece of kit. So we're just topping up. I'll show you the other tank, which is upstairs, which is very similar to the last tank. It's an Oase again with the corner filter. So we'll run through that. If there's anything interesting, I'll film it, and we'll just crack on with filling this one up. So just finished downstairs with the corner unit. So we're upstairs with this black Oase tank. So same as the white one that we just looked at in the previous customer's house. So we just need a good filter clean on this one, and a good glass clean by the looks of things. So I'll get cracking again. If there's anything interesting, I'll let you know. But first things first, let's clean the glass a little bit. So this is the unit itself. They're quite nice, but quite simple. So inside you've just got sponges. So in this case, the lady said she couldn't find a sponge, so she's cut it down. It should have gone sideways, like that. So again, not the end of the world, still got the sponge in there, and then goes in like that. So we'll do our normal, going through all the sponges. So there's 3 big ones in here. Again, this tank's got the same snail as downstairs, so what we're going to do is going to consider the same sort of thing. So we're going to look at some small loaches, yo-yo loaches potentially, is what we're going to look at first. And then if we can, we're also, you can see my emails coming in there, and then we're also going to look at assassin snails potentially as well. Again, snails are one of those pests in tropical tanks that do come in, and actually I'm not sure how well we're going to be able to see this, but let's see if we can just adjust you a little bit. So there we go. So that's a sack of snails. So you can see if they're clear, they come in on plants, and then they can easily get transferred between between tanks. They're semi easy to get off. Closer. There we go. So they do come off, but as you can see, that way, they do end up with leaving this sort of slimy coat on everything. So yeah, easy to transfer and easy to miss as well. Cool. And then in the top, we've got this small white sponge. Okay, fine. So small sponge has obviously got lost, got mislaid. So that's what the lady's done. So she's replaced a small sponge that should live in the top here, and she's replaced that with this one. So we'll put that back in as a little filter sponge, and it might be that we replace them and make sure that she's got appropriate sponges in there. I'll just squeeze out some out as well. So we'll then put this back into the corner of the tank. Give the front a quick wipe with the magic sponges. So yeah, talking about magic sponges actually as we're here. So on the glass in this tank, wasn't able to clean everything off with the sponges as I usually am. So I had to get the magic razor blade out instead of the magic sponges. And that did the job. Sort of second time of asking, so that's how I usually work. Use the sponges. If it's still a bit stubborn, then use that, but you can see that's come up quite nice and clean. And these internal filters do get grubby, and again, it's personal preference. I actually prefer them a bit green because they camouflage themselves, but lots of people do prefer them nice and clean like they were. Alright, we'll get this back up and running, get some water in, and then if I think of anything I want to talk about, I will. So last tank of the day. So this is one that I highlighted, I think, in my very first video. Just come to look at it as a pre-visit. So we adjusted the lights, we adjusted the flow, so everything's looking like super happy. So we'll have a brief tour. So here for holiday cover. So we're just checking the RO, feeding. That's my glass scraper. So we're just about to clean the glass as well. But everything's looking super happy and healthy. So some of the gunnies down towards the back weren't looking great, but they're starting to pick up. Certainly that pink one wasn't extended at all, so we're starting to get a little bit more movement in them, a bit more light, and these torches as well are looking great, a bit more varied flow. That hammer still not, is that hammer or torch? Very pulled in, so not sure. So that's still not doing brilliantly, but it seems to be getting varied flow, and we tested the lights last time, so they were all good. Got some nice polyp extension on this weeping willow, and the Duncans and mushrooms starting to come out with these softy garden down the back. So yeah, going to clean the glass. Some lovely fish in here as well. A couple of spotted mandarin. Don't often see a spotted mandarin and a harlequin, so I really like these psychedelic mandarins, and he is a beauty. Yeah, he is a beauty. Lovely. So yeah, seems to be doing all right. Yeah, so back wall did have some algae on it, which seems to be improving as well. So I wonder if that's the light situation. But there's quite a lot of herbivorous fish in here, so we got a nice sailfin floating around there, gem tang, mimic tang. There's also a mustard tang. So yeah, lovely tank. So we'll get cleaning. Not loads to feedback on this, but just a nice little tour of what's going on with this one. So yeah, I'm just feeding some isis, cleaning the glass, already done the RO, and the customer's daughter's looking after it. So I'm only doing 2 visits, so you'll see this again. But yeah, all right, let's crack on. I'll show you an after. Just finished, so you can see fish are just finishing up some of the mysis that I was asked to feed. So holiday cover is something that I offer on top of, obviously, if you've got a family member who's feeding the tank, then I can come round, just double check everything. Certainly if they're not reefer and they don't know what they're looking at, I can come and check the skimmer, the ATO, feed the fish, clean the glass, etc, etc. So and whatever you want really, it's pretty bespoke. If you want me just to come in, have a look at the tank and go away again, I can do that as well. So yeah, holiday cover is one of those things that I offer. All right, so all done for today. I will be back in the van for a debrief. But yeah, let's catch up there next time. Back in the van, quick debrief. It's a busy day, mainly a trop day, but everything pretty much went to plan. Cleaned up everything. Everyone happy and healthy for another 2, 4 or 6 weeks. I'm going back to the marine tank again later this week. I also need a light for the winter in this tank, in this van, because there's shadows everywhere. But
just starting out. So if you're liking the channel and you want to subscribe, or you want to follow along with these tanks and find out what that marine tank looks like in another couple of days, what the tropical tanks look like in a couple of weeks, then make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and give me a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see some more of my 7-foot tank, which I did a couple of weeks ago, check out the other videos so you can catch up with what's going on. And apart from that, ladies and gents, I've been Mark from MB Aquariums, and I'll catch up with you again in the next one.